Can I read a statement which I just prepared 5 minutes ago?
Certainly you may, yes, of course.
Okay. All of us, whether it's the women who've campaigned under PSOL, campaign of opposing police surveillance, the Undercover Research Group, and many of the justice campaigns who've been affected by the environmental campaigns, all of us have been together since the inception of this inquiry, and most of us have had longer history building solidarity against injustice for decades longer. And I think despite attempts to sabotage our work, undermine campaigns and ruin our personal lives, the state through spying have failed to destroy our campaigns and the organizations that we've set up. The inquiry too has posed many institutional challenges and obstacles, lack of disclosure, and I think preferential treatment on the right of privacy to undercover officers. But the period we live in today is very different from the period that we lived in the 1990s. It's more perilous, it's more dangerous, and only last month, far-right marches in Whitehall attracted over 150,000 people, and the lack of robust police protection to counter-protesters and members of the public was glaring. Some of our supporters were surrounded by far-right marches, and some suffered racial abuse en route to counter-demonstration. The size of the march is unprecedented and a stark reminder of widespread racist attacks and murders that led to our formation in the 1980s. Last month, we saw the hate crime figures released by the police. The racial incidents have spiraled nationally. Islamophobia, attacks on black people, anti-Semitic attacks. The far right want our communities to feel afraid and isolated. And these groups have been emboldened by global funding and the political establishment that seeks to scapegoat migrants, particularly Muslims. The austerity that has been manufactured by successive governments has plunged vast sections of society into poverty and have been effectively mobilized against migrants. There's also this acceleration towards authoritarian legislation that endangers our right to protest and right to assembly, the very issues that we are discussing here. We are now facing the demonization of migrants through xenophobic portrayal of both people. Moreover, racist assumptions about sexual exploitation and abuse have been allowed to spread and spurn violent mobs together outside asylum seeker accommodation. We've seen the weaponization of sexual violence to serve an agenda, especially narrow patriarchal and religious agendas that erase survivors' voices. Disturbingly, many of the men protesting and claiming to protect women and children against refugees have convictions for domestic and sexual violence themselves. Unprecedentedly in the Midlands in the last month, something that we never saw in the 70s, 2 young Asian women have been raped by white men, which are racially motivated, and these have been accepted as racially motivated rape attacks by the police in West Midlands. While we welcome more responsive stances from law enforcement and remain deeply concerned about the justice system's long-standing failures in addressing sexual and racial violence, we have to condemn sexual violence no matter the race of the perpetrator, because misogyny and sexism are not confined in any one race or community. They're embedded in patriarchal systems of power, deeply intertwined with racism and economic equality. Sexual violence must never be reduced to a tool for racism or patriarchal control. To achieve true justice, we must dismiss these intersecting systems of oppression. We've come a long way, and we have a long way to go. We should be proud of ourselves in what we've achieved. Proud to be associated with women who've been groomed by police officers for sex and for seeking information, to the bravery of the trade union individuals who've suffered untelling damage to their personal lives as well as employment issues, to the tremendous work that the Undercover Research Group has done, and most importantly for me, the bravery, the tenacity of justice campaigns, families who've suffered not just one murder, but in the case of the Monowils, 3 sons have been killed in different instances. Yet you remain strong despite the harrow that all of us have suffered. There's one lesson that we need to learn from all this, is that we need to be more vociferous in trying to convince the chair about dealing with the issue of institutional racism and misogyny, and what the women have classified as institutional sexism. And we really need to ensure that the inquiry does not waver when it comes to ensuring that the right of protest and the right of assembly remain intact in this society. The very formation and democratic principles that we thrive under, despite government or Home Office objections. That's all I have to say.